welcome back to Coach Quip. This is episode 164. I'm Coach Robyn.
I'm Coach Chris.
And today we're talking about something very timely. It's a holiday survival guide.
Yeah, holidays are coming up quickly, and we know that means you'll have disruptions in your schedule, and it's going to be harder to find opportunities for your training, and I think also just in general self-care during the holiday time.
You get thrown off.
I definitely get thrown off.
So there's a lot of beauty in having holidays, but then also we lose our routine. And as much as we don't want a routine or say we don't, we actually thrive with one. Mm-hmm. So get ready for that to be disrupted.
Yeah. So in this episode, we have 5 simple tips for you to sort of navigate your holiday festivities, whether it's in November, December, or any holiday that you have coming up.
And we will mention this again at the end, but we actually have a really cool new program that we are starting up right after Thanksgiving that is going to go right through the new year. It is called Project Zero. And the idea is to basically to not gain any body fat during the holidays, which is probably a big fear of a lot of people. Is like, what's going to happen to my body composition? How deconditioned am I going to get, moving less and eating more? And so this is a way to be held accountable. Does not mean by any means to have perfect eating, not drinking. It's not as stringent as that. It's a lot more about just making sure you're making some good decisions and still moving. I think the workout cap is 8 times during those 4 weeks.
This is so important, and I think what a good goal, I think, like a reasonable goal for people to have. Not necessarily like, I'm going to get jacked before the end of the year, but like, okay, my goal is to maintain.
Yeah.
And that is a reasonable goal for you to have, especially during this chaotic time. But I don't know about you, the cookies have already started.
No. What kind of cookies you have up in your house?
I only have a little bit of leftover cookies, but my aunt gave us some vegan, gluten-free chocolate chip cookies that were the best cookies I've had since
we didn't see
vegan.
them here at Edge. It was interesting.
There were just a few, and it was not for sharing. They were so good. But I did have the sort of awareness then of like, oh, wow, this feels like it's starting early, like to have to navigate and, make some concessions. And Coach J-Ro says, this is the time for you to really indulge in the things that you want to experience, right? So like the family meals and the holiday parties that have the special pie that you like and only get once a year, right? Like we know that there's benefits, there's health benefits actually, mental health benefits to indulging and satisfying those cravings and really enjoying that experience. And at the same time, we have to be thinking about the big picture of still moving, still doing all the things to take care of us. And that's what we're going to talk about in this episode. So 5 tips to keep you on track during your holiday season. Starting off with number 1, which is plan ahead. I mean, this is it, right? Like plan ahead. So hopefully what your schedule is going to be in terms of like traveling for holiday meals or holiday gatherings, when your holiday parties might be coming up for work or fun things. And as you put those on your schedule, it's really important to look as not just your weeks, but also your days to make sure that you are planning ahead in terms of when you're able to get those workouts in. And if you have an event to go to, something like very specific of planning ahead of eating a balanced meal or a snack at least before you go so you don't overindulge in those excellent cookies. So Coach J-Ro gave us some great tips in our episode 116 Holiday Nutrition Guide, specifically around the eating piece. And a lot of what she was talking about is that planning ahead and being smart. So yes, you can indulge in some of those things. And also, if you know that you're going to a thing that's going to have, an amazing cheese plate and just like things that aren't constituting a full meal or are really calorically dense, you're going to want to make sure you have a balanced meal or protein snack before you go so that you can stay on track with your goals.
In our house, we tend to do this. I always get very scared about availability of vegetables. So like
they get scarce around that.
Well, I mean, if you go to someone's house, especially, and you don't know what they're going to serve, it's like, is it going to just all be like mashed potatoes and turkey? Like what, what else that I normally eat is not going to be there. So in those scenarios, what we'll do is actually use that for our breakfast, right? So we'll have like a really great scramble with a ton of veggies in that. So I know that I'm checking some of those boxes, and instead of throwing the whole day out and be like, well, let's go for donuts today, right? Because we're going to have 5 kinds of pie later. Like, balance it. Plan at the beginning of the day knowing that you might not have as much control in the end. And honestly, it even helps me sleep because it's like I know I'm a little bit more balanced.
Yeah, and I think this can also go to planning your hydration, right? If you know you're going to a party and intend on having some wine or having a couple drinks, making sure that you are well hydrated in advance. And then, like I said about the scheduling, so making sure that you're planning your days in terms of when do you have available time to do the things that are important to you, which kind of leads into number 2.
Number 2 is to get active, right? Get moving. So organize an activity that is going to maybe involve everybody, that you're doing holiday stuff with, like a 20-minute walk after a meal. We do this with my in-laws. We'll do that, and then we'll walk around the neighborhood with the dogs, because chances are they would probably need to get out too and look at all the different holiday decorations, which is immensely entertaining. A few years ago, it was also during COVID times, we knew we needed to be outside, and so we did a hike with my sister and her family, and it was still like one of my favorite holidays, and it was so cool to not only like get some trail time, but then experience it with like, my little nephews, playing sports. It's so funny. In the summer, we'll do like water bottle tosses, right? And like fun things outside, but for some reason we don't think to do those things in the winter when we probably need them even more. So it could be something traditional like a game of football, or you could play kickball, right? Try to do something that just has you moving a little bit more, and bonus points if it gets everybody outside in general, because it's going to help just manage family dynamics. We know that these time of year can also be funky. So this helps, just like reset any of those odd, tense moments. And that is just the beauty of getting moving and going out.
Yeah. Do you have any traditions? You mentioned the neighborhood walk.
Yeah, the neighborhood walk is really nice. I do think that we're going to my sister's for Thanksgiving, so I think we'll probably try to do another hike.
Yeah.
It was so much fun, and it was also like a beautiful day. I mean, global warming is real. So the upside is that we actually can get outside a lot more easily. I remember I didn't even have like a thick coat on the last time we did it. What about you?
We are doing the neighborhood walk to check out the holiday decorations. So a cousin walk. So it's usually just the youngsters, and the parents' generation stays in. But yeah, we need
They're
that.
like break from the kids.
Exactly. And we're like, whoa. But also fun that I can still be considered a kid in some cases.
Yeah, take it. Do you sit at the kids' table too?
There's not enough people to have a kids' table.
You got one table. So yes.
One table, yes. All right, number 3 is to prioritize sleep. So aiming for those 7 to 9 hours like you are hopefully targeting for the rest of the year. But we know around this holiday time, it's really, really important. We know sleep is our number 1 recovery tool. And during the holidays, I wouldn't say that this is necessarily everyone's biggest training volume load, but really the benefits of the recovery go into mental health benefits and sort of other essential functions like helping you form new connections so that your brain remembers and learns information. So like, just the essential body repair things that happen when you sleep. Also benefits to your immune system. So trying to keep your immune system up, really important, especially as folks are traveling and around.
Gathering.
Gathering and traveling. So we want to keep the immune system up. And then also it just reduces stress and improves your mood. And I thought this one was the one that I thought was most important here. It just helps you get along with people better when you are well rested. And I feel like we need, maybe I'm just speaking for myself here, you need all of the energy that you have to be able to make it through some of the functions that you might find yourself in. So
these also stack for me, right? So if we're talking about prioritizing sleep, and I know that I'm going to be sleeping, let's say, at my in-laws for one night, which, I mean, their house is great, but like it's not my own bed. So then what I'm going to do is just try to get really good sleep the night before at our house and get to bed at a decent time, so that I know I'm almost like sleep banking, knowing that I might not have as good of sleep, when I'm traveling. And the same actually stacks with me with like food and alcohol. If I know that I need to have that good night of sleep before we travel, then I'm probably going to eat a little bit better. I'm not going to drink because I want to be able to sleep and not be up at 2 a.m. Right? And that is then helping me really kind of navigate what is otherwise or could be a kind of stressful couple days with some compromised eating and drinking and sleeping.
Yeah, and stressful interactions potentially. I feel like just the stress around holidays, even if you love and get along with fine the people that you're around, travel is stressful. Not eating the food that you typically eat can be stressful for some people. Just the disruption in the schedule, like we mentioned. So, I know I have a flight at 7 a.m. tomorrow, and I'm dreading getting up at 4:30 to get ready and go. But tonight I'm going to try to get to bed early. But
What's early?
Don't at me.
Well, I'm curious.
I know I will not get 7
11:30.
hours, but I know that I have 3 days of hotel hopping ahead of me.
Oof.
And when, I know that takes a toll on me. So we've talked in the past on some of our sleep episodes, but having a routine that you take with you. So if you are sleeping at the in-laws,
Yep.
that you have like whatever it is, your small comforts that you can travel with. If it's a sound machine or an eye mask or a pair of pajamas that that are comfortable, like anything that you can do to get yourself into a better position to get good sleep, take those things with you and plan ahead for that as well.
Let me tell you, I bought a little travel fan that is rechargeable. It is this big. It's like 8 inches by 4 inches. I freaking love this thing. And I'm always like almost excited, not really, because I'd always rather sleep in my own bed, but like it is totally that. I have like, I know I'm going to have a fan. I know it's going to be charged. It's cute and dark green. It's like the best $9 I've ever spent. If you want the link, DM me. All right, next up is to manage stress. This one goes without saying, but I like the actionable of this is like saying no to unnecessary things. You do not have to say yes to everything. I am the queen of being like, no, we're not doing that. Because one, we have a small business, which is at least 6 days a week. So by nature, we have to say no to a lot of stuff. But I also know that when I'm not doing things that are work related, I need to recharge myself, and I am lucky. I feel like I recharge pretty quickly, but if you are feeling worn down, don't say yes to things that you don't want to do. Instead, take that extra time and maybe do some self-care, like get a massage, go to a yoga class. We've got our Sunday morning mobility class restarting on 12/8. Read, any of the above. I'm going to do a 4B on here for managing stress. You ready for it?
Ready.
Whatever you're doing, if you have an animal, bring it. or gravitate toward, if you're like an animal person having a party that has that dynamic. I find I'm pretty like social, but I find that I need to tap out from time. I'm like Pearl. Pearl's very social until she's not, and then she's like, I need to go sit in a corner. And I'm very much that same way. And it just gives me like a natural anchor or a natural out if I need to take them out, or it's a really, really, for me, comforting thing to know that I have that. I have 3, so if you need one of mine, just let me know.
Okay, gonna put me on the list to rent one. This is why we get along so well. I am the same way. I gravitate to the kids, and so
so does Brian. That's a great call.
I am, playing with the kids is always fun, and the other adults appreciate it because then they can have their little adult
That's how you get you get lumped into the kid group.
That's how I get there.
I love that.
And I get to practice my magic tricks, and it's a win-win-win for everybody.
I'm impressed.
Yeah. All right, our final tip here is to set realistic goals. So you know that you are going to have disruptions in your schedule. You've done holidays before. You know what's ahead of you. But setting small, realistic goals can really help you feel like you are maintaining or moving forward as opposed to feeling like a failure during these times, right? We know that there will be temptations like cookies.
At Chris's house right now.
Yeah, my house. We know that it can be stressful. So setting goals, like different goals than what you would typically do for this time period. So maybe it's something like setting a step goal or a number of strength sessions that you want to do per week. But again, this kind of loops back to number 1 of planning. So plan ahead. When can you hit those sessions, and what are your goals going to be?
Real talk on goals. I just looked at my phone. From Thanksgiving until Christmas, we know it's condensed. It's literally 4 weeks, day to day.
It's wild.
So like that, when we run challenges and programs and stuff like that, people think 4 weeks, I got this, right? Mm-hmm. So we have to have that same mindset. So when you pick a goal, and it can be realistic, it can be, 8,000 steps a day, whatever that is, it's only for 4 weeks.
Right.
That is doable.
Yeah, that is doable. And then also you think like a lot of people haven't started their holiday shopping, maybe haven't bought their flights for December holidays. And we know that while it's 4 weeks and condensed and you can do that, it's also going to maybe be condensed with your stress as well.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's going to feel like you just saw these people because you were at Thanksgiving maybe, and now you're at your winter holidays. So plan ahead and set realistic goals. We've got a way to help with this.
We do. If you want some accountability and some support for those 4 weeks, plus a little bit more. We have our Project Zero right now. When we're filming, we've got 8 spots left. So chances are we're in the low double digits. So if you're interested, head to edgeathlete.me/0 and sign up. It's going to be awesome accountability check-ins, 8 workouts between basically right after Thanksgiving to just after the new year, daily emails, all good mojo, and most important, realistic ways to kind of navigate the holidays.
Yeah, because maintaining can be a successful goal.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, happy holidays, everybody, and use these tips going forward. If there's anything we missed, please tag us with your tips, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Let me know if you need a pug. Later.
Thanks for listening to Coach Quip. Original music performed by Ment. Follow us online on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Edge Athlete Lounge. Our podcast lives in the blog section of our website. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast, and you can check out the show notes for additional ways to contact us. Ready, set, onward we go.